Hello, welcome back to Traffic Time with Hyman. Thank you for joining me today. It is a rainy one. It's been raining for about 3 days now. I don't know if it rains where you guys are from, but it is Christmas time. Yesterday was Christmas, so for those of you that watch this video current, you celebrated it or you were around that time as well. Today's conversation is going to be regarding Christmas and Christmas presents. So this year we focused a lot on our kids. We focused more on our nephews and nieces and basically again all the kids and all the little ones. Not so much adults, hard times. It's tough out there. If you're experiencing the same thing, you know what I'm talking about. If you are well off enough that you're able to do that for every in your family, all your friends, great job, keep it up. But make sure you're still in a stable situation that you can do that, for multiple years to come. But anyways, moving on to the presents. So basically, what made me think about this was the type of presents that we gave our kids this year. And almost every year, we do give our kids some type of toy, electronic, along with clothes and other things they need for school. Grandparents, aunts and uncles typically are the ones that give our kids the more luxurious presents. While our son still believed in Santa, Santa was the one to bring those kind of presents. But he's kind of gotten away from that. He knows that we get him those presents, and we try to get him things that he'll enjoy. Which then made me think about the type of toys that I used to get when I was growing up. And most of my toys for birthdays and Christmases, didn't go over a certain dollar value. And it wasn't because my parents set that value right, it's because the type of money that they had at the time and that was available. I know they tried to still provide or give me some type of presents, even at times that there wasn't anything really to spare, because I love to draw growing up. My mom, or my mom and dad, I still don't know, I haven't asked, but I received crayons, even just a 64 pack of crayons, Crayola, the type that had that sharpener in the center. To me, that was great and amazing because I enjoyed it, right? But then also made me think, like, what really stands out? What item, what gift for Christmas did I get growing up that I can still remember? And there have been a couple, but definitely one that I recall that was probably one of the best presents that sticks out of my memory as a little kid was the He-Man sword. If you are around my age group, right, or even if you're younger and you watched it because of your siblings or your parents, there was a show, or basically a cartoon, with the character He-Man, and he had this heavy-duty, big, tall, metallic sword that he wielded around, and that was his weapon, right? And to me, that's one of the first superheroes that I grew up watching, right? So I've always loved action. I got into Superman, Batman, and all those characters, but He-Man was the first, male figure, first human-like figure that could technically, I know he moved around in space, but, if he took the space part away, he was still a male adult that didn't have any special superpowers except for the ability to use this weapon that was a real-life weapon that I could get as an adult myself, and protect his friends and loved ones and people that needed that help. So that sword, growing up, lit up and made a sound like a sword hitting another sword. So anytime you dashed or swung with that sword, it sounded like you were hitting other pieces of metal. So when you're playing around and hitting your brother or your siblings or hitting the wall with that sword, it sounded like you're fighting and having this dramatic scene, and it's just you basically in your imagination. To me, that was one of the best presents. I tried to make it last as long as possible. Obviously, those were made out of plastic, so over time it broke. I think the electrical part on that toy lasted longer than the actual plastic piece of the sword itself, because for a while I was just using the base as a toy to swing around and imagining like I still had that sword because the top part had broken up. But anyway, that was one of the best toys that I remember getting. Again, because of the situation that we were in, my dad always trying to save up and try to provide a better life. He really scrounged and gathered every penny, every nickel and dime that he could. And I do obviously praise him for that. He got us out of certain situations by doing so. So that left, very little money for presents when it came to Christmas and birthday. So a lot of times I had to save up for those really big presents that I wanted. I had to save up for a Sega, right? We saved up for the Nintendo 64, and all that came out of birthday monies, communion and whatever random, events we had, Easter, where you collected coins, anything at any time that somebody was gonna donate or give us money. My brother and I collected that money. It was dollars, here and there. We waited for those big events where we got, $20, $30, $40, and basically it took us a year to save for these consoles or these games. But back then, we didn't have as much electronic time as kids have now, and we're definitely gonna get into that conversation right now. But again, just the ability to grab or buy those toys was not the same as it is now, or at least for our family. So we didn't have them readily available like our kids do now. So back to the toys and type of toys that I used to get and have and get gifted, whether it was from my parents or aunts and uncles. Not too many would stand out. I wouldn't get here and there yo-yos and gift cards, and I would get clothes that I enjoyed and liked. But again, my whole family, most of my family, aunts and uncles, were in similar situations. And obviously, I'm sure at some point, sometimes some of my aunts and uncles would ask my parents what we wanted or we liked, and I don't know how open and honest my parents would be and what kind of situation we were in. But I imagine they would have said, they need these, type of clothing pieces. They need pants, or they need sweaters, or they need, socks. Because I used to get that, throughout the year, all the time. So it was nice to at least have nice clothes throughout the year. And I, looking back, would say those were better gifts than toys, because of the environment and the surroundings that I had. If they would have spent money on toys but not clothes, then that would have opened up other unpleasant situations for me, right, in school and around other peers. So I can't say that was a negative thing. I never look back and say, oh man, I wish I would have gotten these toys or these presents. But I do try to remember the best presents or the type of presents that I enjoyed. As simple as getting just a small, basically, there was this ninja on a bike that used to be able to wind back and roll, and I used to do all kinds of tricks and stunts with that little bike. And I mean, I was leaving my kid ages, right? So I was still playing with small toys and die-cast figures until I was basically 11, 12, getting into middle school, basically. And then once you get into middle school and high school, those presents kind of dwindle and you just get more clothes. You don't really get toys. At least in my circles and my family members, right? They would just either give me cash because they knew I was getting older and I would want certain things, or they would just give me, again, clothes. I always needed clothes. I wouldn't say I had a lot of growth spurts, but I had a steady growth where almost pretty much every year I grew to another shoe size, another belt size, the shirt size, just because of my height. I didn't really gain a lot of weight, but I could only wear so many size, so many smalls when I'm almost 6 foot tall. I could only wear so many mediums when I'm getting 150, 160 pounds. It just doesn't fit the same way. So I appreciated all those piece of articles and all the different type of clothing that I used to get. And again, that that He-Man sword was the best toy I could recall in my kid age. I would say teens and below. That was the best present I could recall. What kind of presents did you guys used to get? What do you remember getting as a child? What sticks out in your memory and say, man, I still have this one toy from when I was 8 or 7, or if I would have had this toy, if I could find that toy, you know, what is it? Some people might even say, man, I wish I would have had my Pokemon cards because they're, you know, they would have been worth $1,000 right now. For whatever reason, one way or another, you liked a certain toy or gift growing up. Let me know what that was. I'm curious to see, you know, based on the followings and the viewers that I have. The age group is pretty wide. I have viewers from 25 all the way to 45. So some of the gifts and presents I'll probably know about. But for the younger generation, I'm curious to see what kind of gifts and presents you guys remember or recall. And then for those that might be a little older, you know, what kind of gifts and toys were available in your time or your age group to basically to tell me or show me what kind of viewers I got. So I would be looking forward to seeing what kind of toys and what kind of gifts you guys got. Thank you guys for following. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate all the support. I'll be back with another episode shortly. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.